Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikhanasa Maharaj, who I'm sure you all know, but I'm going to say it anyhow, because there may be one or two of you who don't know him. He came to Prabhupada in 1971, to Gurudev in 1997. So he's had wonderful association, and he's one of these wonderful gentlemen who made the transition, not transition, I don't know how you describe it, because Gurudev and Prabhupada are one, but he was one that took that risk to come to Gurudev in the early days. And like with Avadut Maharaj and Shamrani, we owe such a debt of Mahabodhi, we owe such a debt of gratitude as Gurudev's disciples to these ladies and gentlemen who put so much effort into expanding the movement in the early years, and then also took the risk to come to Srila Gurudev. And Maharaj took sannyas in 2004, and he served in Bangalore, pioneering a temple, the Radha Govinda Gaudiya Math in Bangalore, which is a long, long story, and went through a lot of sacrifices and austerities. And he's somebody who certainly, like Avadut Maharaj was describing, the importance of following Gurudev's order. And through thick and thin, I observed many indirectly how he persevered through thick and thin to carry out that mission, to carry out that order for Srila Gurudev, whatever the circumstances. And now he's over in America and starting his tour in his RV. So he's a wonderful and very colorful and communicative sannyasi. And I have had the great privilege of being chastised by him, which was one of my most enjoyable experiences in Navadri. If you're going to be chastised by Vaikhanasa Maharaj, because it is so entertaining. It's wonderful. So I really look. Oh, but most importantly, what is his subject tonight? His subject tonight, we're going pretty esoteric now. We're going to go to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're going to go to Antya Leela, so the third part, the final part of the pastimes, chapter 2, and we're going to the beautiful story of the second meeting between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami, which is one of my very favorite pastimes of Mahaprabhu. So, Maharaji, we are almost on time for you, quite a miracle for us, so you can't chastise me too hard tonight. And it is 5 to 9 here, so that's 5 to 4 in Tennessee, I think, right? So you got until 4:25 in Tennessee, and the Zoom Vyasasan is all yours. Haribol.
Oma Gyana Timirandasya Yananjana Shilakaya Chakshuramitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadandikam Pancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Titanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we begin this most auspicious opportunity to glorify Srila Gurudev by first offering our most humble obeisance under the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and our exalted Rupanuga Varga, the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. When I thought how to glorify Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, you know, there are so many unlimited topics which can be spoken. But I thought I'd speak from my personal experience, something that grabbed me from the beginning and which I'm still pursuing, obviously, trying to understand. Because when we want to understand this path of bhakti, we have to understand it through the words and through the direction of our acharyas, going back to Mahaprabhu himself. And our Diksha Shiksha Guru, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, so kindly presented Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the magnificent work Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is actually a exposition and revelation of the deeper and real meaning, the entire intent of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I have to admit, quite frankly, honestly, that in my early days, I really, didn't even come close to understanding the message that was being revealed in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami and by Srila Prabhupada, even though it was plainly there. And Srila Narayan Raj, Gurudev used to say that everything that Srila Prabhupada gave was like in a treasure chest. He said he gave so many gems, valuable gems, but they were in a treasure chest, locked. And he said, I've brought the key to unlock this treasure. And the key, of course, is always association with and guidance of more advanced Vaishnavas to help us continue on the path. And the particular thing that I wanted to bring out is what is one of the important points that I was able to glean and trying to glean from Srila Gurudeva over the years, that when we talk about this verse, Anarpita Chidim Charat Karanaya Vatirna Kalau, this verse that after a long time, you know, the Lord himself, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, has appeared in the age of Kali in order to deliver something very rare and very beautiful, which Srila Prabhupada describes as the message and the revelation of the topmost kind of devotional service, the service of conjugal love. That's in the third chapter. The third chapter being Mahaprabhu's external mission, what he came to deliver. The fourth chapter, of course, is what he came to taste and experience himself. The revelation that he came to taste the moods and experience the position of the devotee, Srimati Radhika. And actually the position of all devotees, but chiefly her, she being the topmost. With that third verse, you know, for so many years, our intent, our purpose, our understanding was that we are here on behalf of Mahaprabhu to deliver the holy name. And that's absolutely true. But Srila Gurudev always said that the holy name is given by Yuga Avatar in every Kali Yuga. But in most Kali Yugas, except for the one in which Krishna himself comes as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that holy name is given to deliver people to Vaikuntha, the fallen jivas. But once in a day of Brahma, he comes to deliver this most confidential conception of the holy name and this most confidential conception of love of God, which is that special love within the heart of the Brajbasis in Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan. And of all those kinds of expression and reciprocation with Sri Krishna, the topmost being the kind of reciprocation between Krishna and the gopis. And of all of that, understanding Srimati Radhika's love, and for those very fortunate souls to enter into a mood of service to her, to Srimati Radhika herself, in order to give Krishna the greatest pleasure, assist his most beloved in her service to him. And I remember very early on when I was first coming to Gurudev and I'd moved to India, and I said, okay, now I'm going to make a go of it. You know, gave up everything, you know, I thought I don't want to miss this chance. I want to go to India and serve directly, closely, Srila Gurudev. I don't want to miss this chance of this association, this opportunity. So I was, you know, about 52 at that time. And so I went. And it was just before Kartik month, we were in Mathura, and he asked me to come up and speak something about what is the intent and purpose of Mahaprabhu. And so I gave a lecture, a very kind of basic little speech, and I talked about the holy name, and I talked about Krishna's appearance. He asked, why has Krishna appeared? And I quoted Bhagavad Gita, Pritranaya Sarunam Vinashaya Chadiskatam Dharma Sangstarpanartaya Sambhavani Yudhaya, to annihilate demons, to deliver the devotees, to establish Dharma. And I spoke in that line. And after I spoke, Gurudev said, that's all correct. But actually, what you've talked about are the activities of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is the overlord of the material universe. And from him, the avatars come to establish these things and to protect Dharma, to reestablish, religious principles like that. But Krishna himself came for a much deeper reason. And he spoke of Chaitanya Charitamrita, 3rd and 4th chapters, where Krishna is explaining that I'm going to appear to have these extraordinary pastimes of the gopis. No one has ever seen such pastimes. These pastimes will astonish me. They will astonish the gopis. Under the influence of Yoga Maya, we'll all be delivered. And I want to give the world an opportunity to see and taste and be attracted to this. This is a speciality. He said, you should understand this. And so after that, my dear friends, Damodar Maharaj started calling me Mahavishnu Das. But I understood, okay, there's something more, something secret, not so secret because it's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then gradually by association and hearing, I came to understand, of course, that what Mahaprabhu came to deliver was most specifically being written about and explained first and foremost by Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam, Stapikam Jaina Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandika. When will Rupa Goswami, give me shelter at his lotus feet? Because he is imbued and empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He understood his Manubhishta, his inner intent, and has so mercifully given that to the entire world. So what is that most inner intent? And that goes back to what we just described, how Krishna came to display these pastimes. And then in the 4th chapter, he's describing that the kind of love and the kind of bhakti that's practiced by most people, it is somewhat crippled by awareness of my being God. And even though they have great love for me, I have great love for them, they can't enter into the most confidential and unrestricted forms of love as long as they know of my Bhagavata, my Godhood. He said, but in Vrindavan, I have this special relationship with my friends who treat me as an equal, who say, oh, what kind of great man are you? You and I are equal. Carry me on your shoulders. Or when my beloved gopis chastise me and criticize me, this gives me more pleasure than all the prayers of the Vedas. And Rupa Goswami understood this and revealed this in very extraordinary ways. And how he did this is described in the 19th chapter of Madhya Lila, and then in the 1st chapter of Antya Lila. So in the Madhya Lila, there's a very beautiful verse where in the very first verse of that chapter, it says that before the creation of the cosmic manifestation, the Lord enlightened the heart of Lord Brahma with the details of the creation and manifested the Vedic knowledge. In exactly the same way, the Lord, being anxious to revive the Vrindavan pastimes of Lord Krishna, impregnated the heart of Rupa Goswami with spiritual potency. By this potency, Srila Rupa Goswami could revive the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan, activities almost lost to memory. In this way, he spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. So in that translation of Srila Prabhupada, which he goes into and explains in other places in more detail, we're understanding something extraordinary about Rupa Goswami. And whenever I mention Rupa Goswami, I want everyone to understand that my special appreciation of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj was that he opened this treasure chest that Srila Prabhupada introduced about we as followers of Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada used to call us, he said, we are Rupanugas. And I heard that many times, we're Rupanugas, but what did that mean? I understood it in a general sense. But Rupanuga has a very deep meaning. It means, in one sense, it means following the injunctions, the instructions, the confidential teachings of Rupa Goswami. It also means following Rupa Goswami in his identity as Rupa Manjari, which that path to that place and to that particular kind of love of God, he's giving in his books. And so Rupa Goswami, think about this, when Lord Brahma was given revelation, there were no books for him to read. All of that knowledge, all of that understanding was impregnated into his heart. And then he gave the four Vedas and then taught them to his sons and disciples, and then taught them to Narad, who expanded them to Veda Vyas. Similarly, Rupa Goswami, what he revealed was special information impregnated in his heart by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the activities of Vrindavan, which were also not in scripture in the kind of detail in which he reveals. But they were awakened in his heart and given, and then he expanded them in his literatures, Dagda Madhav, Lalita Madhav, Bhakti Samrita Sindhu, Ujjvala Nilamani, so many, Dan Keli Kumudi, so many books that he wrote, which detail pastimes which nobody had heard, which detailed the love of Radha and Krishna, which nobody had heard, which detailed the role of all the different kinds of gopis. He introduced the conception of manjaris, which nobody had heard. And then backed by scripture and reinforced by the writings of his chief and only direct disciple, Jiva Goswami. See, so, and Srila Prabhupada concludes his translation in this way, he spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. So hidden in that verse, although not stated explicitly, is everything about the Vrindavan pastimes that he later wrote about. Not general bhakti, because of the other point is that when we study bhakti, Srila Narayan Maharaj said that, and he quotes Bhaktivinoda Thakur and many people, that our aspiration is to come from the position of Kanishta Adhikari, beginning, and enter into Madhya, and to enter into that path of Raganuga, where our devotion is inspired and enlightened by spontaneous greed, right? But he says that Raganuga is a general description of what we're seeking. Rag means attraction for the object of one's devotion. And anuga means to follow in the footsteps of particular devotees who are following that path. He said, we could follow anyone in Vrindavan and be Raganuga, but we are aspiring to be Rupanuga, which means to follow Rupa Goswami and to follow that path that he's revealing as Rupa Manjari. And this is very different. He says that every Rupanuga is a Raganuga devotee, but not every Raganuga is a Rupanuga devotee. And then he was making very clear the difference then between not only the followers of Vaikuntha, but even followers or people that are aspiring to enter into Krishna Lila in Dwarka. That's not even the same. That's not even what Rupa Goswami was coming to give. And that leads us to Antya-lila. There's so much in Antya-lila to discuss. But I'm only going to bring up one little point because of time constraint. But this is something that, let me get my little timer here. 15 minutes. This is one of the points that he's bringing up. I mean, obviously, we don't have time to discuss everything. So I'm going to bring this up. It's very beautiful. And so Antya-lila, in the first chapter, it's describing Rupa Goswami's travels from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri to meet up with Mahaprabhu again. And he's traveling and traveling. And on the way, he comes to Satyabhamapura. And while he was traveling, and before that, he had begun writing a book. And that book was going to be about all Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan and later in Mathura and Dwarka and everywhere else, just like the entire Bhagavatam. When he got to Satyabhamapura, he had a vision or a dream that night. And Satyabhama Devi came to him in a dream and told him, oh, what you're writing is very beautiful, but I want you to write a separate drama about me. Divide the pastimes in two. Right? One about Dwarka and me, because Satyabhama is Krishna's most dear queen there, and one about Vrindavan. And so this was very astonishing, and he took this to heart. And then he went to Puri, and there, Mahaprabhu, he went to the place of Haridas Thakur, and he stayed with him in a hut on the beach. And then Mahaprabhu came, and the next day he went to see Srila Rupa Goswami, and the first thing he spoke to him, he said, do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan, for he does not go anywhere else at any time. In other words, he knew, he was omniscient, he knew that Rupa Goswami was writing a book. And he gave this immediate instruction. Don't try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan, he never goes anywhere. And he quoted this beautiful verse, Krishna nyo jadasambhuto yat purna sostya atapara Vrindavana parityagya swakvachin navagachati. The Krishna known as Jadukumar is Vasudeva Krishna. He is different from the Krishna who is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Yadukumar Krishna manifests his pastimes in the cities of Mathura and Dwarka. But Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, never at any time leaves Vrindavan. And having heard that instruction, Rupa Goswami included that in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Then Mahaprabhu left, and he went to do his noonday pastimes, and Rupa Goswami considered, oh, Satyabhama Devi ordered me to do this, 2 different dramas, and now Mahaprabhu has confirmed this. So now I will write these 2 different books. I'm going to write 2 separate invocations of good fortune and 2 different introductions. I have to think deeply about this matter. Then it comes to a very beautiful pastime where Rupa Goswami sees Mahaprabhu at the Rath Yatra ceremony for the first time. And at the Rath Yatra ceremony, Mahaprabhu does something that nobody really understands. And this is another thing that Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj spoke about extensively. And actually, there was enough lecture about that an entire book, Shamarani Didi took all of the lectures that Gurudeva has spoken about that and compiled a book, The Origins of Rath Yatra. And in that, he explains the confidentiality of the Rath Yatra pastime and the deeper meaning and purpose of that. But this point is one very specific thing. And it says that during the Rath Yatra ceremony, Rupa Goswami saw Lord Jagannath. He also saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing and chanting in front of the Rath. When Rupa Goswami heard a verse uttered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the ceremony, he immediately composed another verse dealing with the same subject. He said, I've already described these incidents, and he has in the Madhya Lila, but he wanted to add something more. Because here, Mahaprabhu was finding out how Rupa Goswami is knowing something most confidential in his heart, which no one else had known. And what I find really interesting is that in these, Srila Prabhupada was showing us everything. But sometimes it's a little hidden. It's not explicit. It becomes explicit once it's explained to you and revealed what's going on. But for me, it went over my head or in one ear and out the other for so many years. So I'm offering this debt of gratitude to Srila Gurudeva for showing what Srila Prabhupada actually came to teach us, revealing this Chaitanya Charitamrita and its higher purpose. So generally, Mahaprabhu would speak this verse while dancing and chanting before Lord Jagannath, but no one knew why he recited this particular verse. Only Srup Damodar knew the purpose for which the Lord recited this verse. And according to the Lord's attitude, he used to quote other verses, that is Srup Damodar, in order for the Lord to relish that mellow. But Rupa Goswami is very young, but he could understand the intention of the Lord, and he composed another verse. So the verse that Mahaprabhu would speak was actually an ordinary love song, beautifully written in Sanskrit, but which conveyed many of the sentiments in a way that if you knew Mahaprabhu's heart, in his indirect way, he was expressing those same deep sentiments, but he was keeping them hidden. And the verse was this: that very personality who stole my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra, the same fragrance of malati flowers that's there, and the same breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vatasi tree. That is my desire. Now that song is about a lady who is now married to her beloved, and it's the same person, but she's reflecting back on a time before when they would meet in secret as lovers, secretly on the bank of the Reva under a tree, and have such sweet and hidden pastimes and the excitement of that. And she wishes she could recapture it. But now everything is different. And so Mahaprabhu, he would cite that. And then Rupa Goswami wrote this verse to reveal Mahaprabhu's meaning. And it begins with Priya Soyam Krishna Sahachari Guru Ketra Militas. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Jamuna beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindavan. And this is a verse revealing the heart of Srimati Radhika when she and the gopis met Krishna at Kurukshetra. Right? And Srila Gurudeva expounded on that very much. Mahaprabhu, when he heard this verse, see, Rupa Goswami, he put that in his hut and they went to take bath. Mahaprabhu went to the hut. Rupa Goswami was there. He pulled the leaf down, he read it, and he was astonished and stunned. And Rupa Goswami came back and he saw him and he said, slapped him. He said, how have you understood my heart? Who told you this? Who revealed to you these deep sentiments in my heart about Srimati Radhika, and her love and these moods that I have? And Srup Damodar said, oh, you alone must have revealed this to him. Otherwise it would be impossible. And this is all there. Srila Prabhupada explains, sometimes sparingly, sometimes a little bit more, but this chapter goes on and on and on, revealing in so many ways verses by Rupa Goswami about the nature of the love between Radha and Krishna, their sentiments. Quotes from this Vidagdha Madhav about Radhika's feelings, quotes from Krishna about his feelings, quotes from Madhu Mangal and Balaram explaining the beauty of Vrindavan and the setting and the nature of the flute. And all of this, Srila Gurudeva spoke about in so many ways on Parikram in his books. When I first saw him, when he came to the San Francisco Bay Area in 1997, his lectures were filled with this. And it is astonishing, enlightening, and enlivening. And I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm connected with Srila Prabhupada again. This is really what Srila Prabhupada came to give. Now I'm beginning to understand something about what our ultimate prayojan is. And it became so exciting. I wish I had time. I wanted to explain something that he also said, that when we go back to the idea that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, Radhika, Gurudev explained, I remember being in Navadvip and hearing this for the first time. Radhika also never leaves Vrindavan. As there is Vasudev Krishna, who appears in Kurukshetra, he appears in Dwarka. There are different manifestations of Radhika also. Samyogini Radhika and Viyogini Radhika. Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhika is the original Radhika, the form of Krishna that relates always with Shyamasundar, Brajendranandan, Nandanandan, Yashodanandan Krishna, the original Radhika. But Radhika in separation, after Krishna has left, Viyogini Radhika. In the forest of Vrindavan, where Uddhava met her, seeing her in such incredible separation. And then there's Samyogini Radhika, her expansion, who along with the other gopis goes to Vrindavan and sees Krishna there. And is yearning, let us go back to Vrindavan. Let us be there, because it's only there that we can fully enjoy. It's only there that you'll be truly happy. Here, what can we do? You have no flute. You have no peacock feather. Can you dance with us like you dance at Vrindavan, free and uninhibited? No, it's not the same. Come to Vrindavan. And this is the mystery and the beauty of the Rath Yatra ceremony, which revealed to us by the grace of Rupa Goswami through the instruction and confirmation of Sri Damodar, and then by the ongoing connection through our acharyas, ultimately Srila Prabhupada, and then Srila Narayan Maharaj so beautifully unveiling this and showing this to us. Anyway, I'm done. My 30 minutes is up. All right. There's never enough time, is there?
There's never enough time. There's never enough time.
We've been reading Anjalila every day now, and it's just such an extraordinary revelation.
Are you doing that on Discord?
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to use Discord. I've just finished, after 4 years, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita with Vajanti Mala. So it's beautiful timing to hear this class from you. And my experience of listening to you was that it was kind of simultaneously soothing and volcanic, if that's possible, because it's kind of soothing because the pastimes are so mellifluous, and so they give you this sense of the absoluteness of the love, and at the same time it's volcanic because you kind of feel like in the same way, you kind of have this sense that in the same way, it's not that Prabhupada hid things, it was that it was hidden from you essentially when you were with Prabhupada, because obviously everyone was
a lack of qualification.
Yeah. And then it got revealed through Gurudev, and I kind of feel like there's more to get revealed, actually.
Oh, yes.
More and more. It's like every time you read this, it's like your consciousness is a different place. And it kind of reminded me of, like, you have this incredible artist, and we're all students, and at one stage, even what they're saying, we can only understand a certain repertoire of what they're trying to describe. And then 10 years later, we're just seeing a whole different, or with a chef, if you're a cook, your range of sense and smell, complete and taste changes over time as you're under the right guidance. With music, it's the same thing. You're hearing things you never heard before. As an artisan, if you're like one of these Japanese artisans, I mean, a Japanese chef has to they're qualified after about 40 years or something ridiculous. Right. Or a jeweler who's selecting jewels, and at the beginning of your apprenticeship, you wouldn't understand the difference between one jewel and another, but after 40 years, you see things in a totally different way. What to say of the Ras Tattva that we're being introduced to? And I think I really like the way in which you took the whole subject matter and also reconciled it between Prabhupada and Srila Gurudeva, which actually beautifully sort of was in sync with some of the Qatar earlier about the discord between ISKCON and Gaudiya Math, and you can see it contextually, you can see it all happening in evolution. And I'm so grateful because in my development as a devotee, I remember this Manjari Bhav, this speciality, this Rupa Nuga line that you're talking about, that Gurudev came to explain to us and specialize in. He was teaching that to me in 1996 when I'd only learned the Maha Mantra. I mean, it was gobbledygook actually, but something went in. It was so magical because even though I wouldn't have been able to explain any of it to anybody back in 96, somehow he, as guru, is able to inject something in your heart where you kind of know in a fuzzy way that's the goal. And then everything afterwards has come to explain that goal. He's like the perfect Persian guru from that point of view, of putting that in your heart from day one. So that was a really beautiful and very colorful and very broad explanation of the topic, which you could speak for 12 hours on that one. So,
well, I know from encounters over the years that even though I may not have had access to some of these deeper hints, Srila Prabhupada did reveal some extraordinary things to other devotees. You know, maybe not in detail because of timing and background and all, but he made very clear certain kinds of things. And so the continuum is there. I mean, you know, Krishna is coming to us as guru, and I'm just so grateful, you know, the remembrance of Srila Gurudev. From the first time I met him, I felt, now I'm connected again to Srila Prabhupada. And year after year, getting more and greater appreciation for Srila Prabhupada and the gifts he gave and the extraordinary nature. I mean, his scholarship and his subtlety and his artistry come out more and more as this idiot becomes slowly, hopefully a little more qualified.
He actually said that they will understand me through my books, you know, after I've disappeared.
Yeah.
So my only New Year's resolution I've decided, because I hate New Year's resolutions, is to get trained up on Discord so I can hear your guitar on Discord. I'm going to do that. Thank you so much, Maharaj.